there's gonna be some character concerns talk on this one, just because I can't ignore that. But let me just preface this by saying the Chiefs have met with him. He has been one of the top 30 visits. Isaiah Bond has been a player that the Chiefs have met with, but that was, of course, before he turned himself into the Frisco police a couple days ago. So let me just say that off the top here. Isaiah Bond.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. What? What are you saying? Tell me about it. I have no idea what's happening. What's happening?
So Isaiah Bond, okay, so I wrote it down here just to get all the facts correct here. So Isaiah Bond turned himself into Frisco police Thursday morning on an outstanding sexual assault warrant with allegations dating back to February. According to the affidavit, officers met with the victim, an adult woman, at the Methodist Dallas Medical Center on February 6th. The woman told officers that Bond initially sent her a direct message on Instagram that the pair eventually started texting each other. The affidavit states, over text, Bond told the woman he would be in the Frisco area for training related to the upcoming NFL draft and asked if she would be willing to meet up, per the affidavit. The affidavit says their text conversations then turned to mutual discussions of having sex and engaging in one act in particular, which the victim said she would consider. According to the affidavit, the two eventually met in person on February 4th and began a consensual sexual encounter after drinking wine. During their interaction, the affidavit says Bond brought up the notion of the act they'd previously discussed in their text exchanges. Per the affidavit, the woman told Bond in that moment that she was not comfortable with trying it. According to the affidavit, Bond began engaging in that act anyway. The document says that the woman asked Bond to stop while physically pushing him away from her and telling him she was in pain, but that Bond continued the act while using his body weight against her and covering her mouth. After the encounter, affidavit says Bond told the woman, "Alcohol makes me do things," end quote, and asked her to sign a non-disclosure agreement. The woman refused to sign the NDA and left the apartment, per the document. After leaving, the affidavit says the woman texted Bond saying, "Isaiah, you were wrong for that. I asked you to stop and you kept covering my mouth. I'm in a lot of pain." Bond responded, "You want 1,000? I'm really sorry." And quote, "Would that make it feel better?" The affidavit states. According to the document, the woman was shocked that Bond offered her money, so he responded, "What? 5K and then 1K. Like, you asked me to sign, then you offer me money. So you know what you did. That's why you covered my mouth." While meeting with officers of the Frisco Police Department on February 20th, the affidavit states that the woman texted Bond again as a part of a pretextual interview. And when the woman asked him for an apology, he responded with, "I did, ... end quote. The woman responded saying, "Apologizing by trying to pay me isn't a real apology, Isaiah. You really hurt me and I kept telling you to stop." To which Bond replied, "I'm sorry." From that point on, the affidavit states the woman was unable to make contact with Bond. Charges of sexual assault were then filed, and the former Longhorn turned himself in on April 10th, then shortly thereafter posted bond and was released from jail. In a post on X, Ian Rappaport shared a statement he obtained from Bond that read, quote, "Regarding the accusation made against me, I would appreciate the time and opportunity to defend myself and prove the claims made patently false. I'm in full cooperation with the authorities and will remain a willing and active participant in the investigation." On top of this, more disturbing rumors from sources close to the Texas Longhorns program suggest a pattern of concerning behavior towards women during Bond's college year at Texas, allegedly prompting team staff to limit his interactions with female staff members. So that is the character concerns behind.
Shoot. Let me say Bond. 2 quick things before you go on. One, we need a bail bondsman with him if we draft him. Joke was spot on last week. 1. 2, the character concern.
Oh, 100%.
And beyond.
100%. Again, these are allegations and it's part of an affidavit. So again, like there's stuff's going to be hammered out here, but it does not look good for him. So I want to make sure we cover that aspect of it. I said last week I was going to talk about Isaiah Bond, and then this happened over the last few days. So it was like, okay, well,
really fits our character concern narrative.
True. Yeah, I know. If we were to draft him, it would be something that everyone would talk about for sure, on top of everything else that's going on. But
and
yeah,
a Texas guy too.
But let me talk about the football stuff as well, and then we can also talk. We can talk about the entire picture together.
I don't even want to hear the football stuff. Damn.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, not
no.
And when you hear also too, besides that, the whole affidavit, and when you hear reports of unnamed sources coming out of Texas saying that they prompted the female staff members to not really interact with him, that I think that says a lot about him. But just a background about Isaiah Bond to move on from that to football stuff. But a background about him, ran a 4.39 40. Went from Alabama to Texas. He said he left Alabama because of Nick Saban leaving. Potentially late day 2 pick, early day 3 pick. That was before the affidavit came out and all the stuff going on. So maybe later day 3 or maybe not touched at all. I don't know. But analysis on him. He's a jitterbug, in and out of breaks with ease. Really explosive with the ball in his hands. Does not shy away from contact. Quick screens, reverses, can do it all, and also return man potential. Surreal short area agility and explosiveness to change directions and create space. Desirable open field speed and initial acceleration to threaten vertically or close cushion to create room underneath. Creative route runner that can turn defenders inside out from the slot or on the perimeter. Knox lacks on-field awareness. Based on the allegations against him, seems like he lacks off-field awareness too. But yeah, lacks off-field awareness. Tends to get blown up a lot. So yeah, he tries a lot and he gets knocked big time. That's been one big thing that Steve Smith said. Like, he thinks he's great, but he said the fact he lacks the awareness of where defenders are, where he can get knocked out, especially a guy that small going to the NFL. Good luck trying that. Small hands and tends to catch in tight, a bit of a body catcher, and that's one thing that a lot of anonymous NFL scouts are concerned with being a body catcher. Modest catch radius, doesn't offer quarterback much bailout opportunity for errant throws, although I don't think he'd be much of a bailout receiver anyway at that stature. Incomplete production profile across multiple programs and multiple opportunities with multiple different quarterbacks. If you look at his stats, they're not really indicative of a guy who's, someone who's been a guy, and unlikely to be a true asset in the run game as a blocking presence, pretty much non-existent as a blocker. And again, big time character concerns with this guy. And the Chiefs have met with him. And let me again say, Chiefs met with him before before he returned himself into the Frisco police. So what do you think about Isaiah Bond? And also, I will say this, before all this stuff, right, this character concerns, when I did the research on him, his nickname is 007, which is kind of a badass nickname with the last name Bond. So, yeah.
All right. Look, man. I thought Isaiah Bond, to be honest with you, I'm just going to go on his ability. I thought he was just okay. I didn't think he was anything spectacular, to be honest with you. I wasn't really high on this guy to begin with, just for what look at his output. I mean, 34 receptions and all that. I mean, yeah, man. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about just the whole character concerns, just hearing all of these allegations and whatnot. Obviously, when they go through everything and, have his day in court, I'll let him deal with that. But as far as, I'm not, yes, I wouldn't deal with this guy at all. There's no need to. There's no need. This guy right here needs to get his life on track. So he needs to go ahead and figure it out. Especially sexual assault. I mean, it's things like when you talk about character concerns, that is the highest of character concerns. I mean, certain things you do, sexual assault, stealing from other people and all those different things, beating people up, assault, and all those different things, man, that's a big no-no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, as far as like me as a man that have daughters, I just really, I can't even jail to even think about something like this. There's so many other guys like this. Yeah, you had to pass on him. I'm sorry. So let him deal with what he has to deal with. And so that's my word on it. That's it. Let him deal with what he has to deal with, man. But as far as going to the Chiefs, no, not at all.
I have a lot of notes on him. So I heard perplexing evaluation. The good, hard to move like him. He's physically gifted, movement, speed, 100 and 200 meter state titles in high school. Spent more time at DB than receiver coming into college, which shows because he's got a lot of lack of polish. He does track and catches deep balls pretty effortlessly. He's got smooth route running. Doesn't lose speed when changing directions. Got an inside-outside game. bad. There's a lot of bad. I'm not even talking about off the field. Lacks big games. He had a 100-yard game last year, and it was against TCSA. Runs himself into coverage. In zone, he doesn't have the awareness of spacing at all. He doesn't tempo his speed. He goes 1 to 100, throwing into throwing windows versus zone. He crashes into off coverage DBs when he could just slow down and give himself the release. He doesn't. He just runs right into them. Not a lot of nuance to him. His last 3 weeks of the season, he had 2 for 27. He was shut out versus A&M and 1 for 21. So bad to the point where people are questioning, was he hurt? That's how bad it was. Like, shut out, 1 for 21, 2 for 27. You're going to be a second-round receiver with that nonsense. Zero involvement when things get physical. Like, he wants no part of blocking or getting his nose in there. Zero part of it. Like, it's not just that he tries and he's not good, because some people say he's not a great blocker. That could also mean the guy tries, he's just not that good at it. He wants no part of it. JD will like this part. Teja Johnson is a better version of what Bond is supposed to be, but Bond just has a little more potential because he's heavier. Teja Johnson's so light. But if you want a speed burner who could just take the top off, just draft Teja Johnson 2 rounds later. Well, I don't know about two rounds later anymore after all this stuff, but before, a round or 2 later.
Yeah. JD, just on based on everything that like kind of talked about the character concerns, and again, we talk about character concerns out on the show, right? Like the James Pierce thing, the guy wore a hoodie to the combine. He forgot his shirt. That when you talk about the grand scheme of things as far as character concerns, this is character concerns.
Yeah, it don't even equate. It doesn't even. Equate.
Yeah. James Pierce.
Yeah, that to me that's a hiccup. Especially you had a coach that came in and vouched for him, was talking about some of these things, dispel some of the rumors. But something like this, man, when you're dealing with other people and their quality of life, against their will, sexually, and like I said, these things, allegations, how this thing's going to play out. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. That was one of the reasons, like when I went in, they asked me to come and coach these guys that was coming into the NFL, the tight ends. And we had conversations about these things, about how you carry yourself, who you should be around. When you're dealing with young ladies, opposite sex, with any of those things, about being responsible, how you carry yourself, conversation, what you shouldn't do, put yourself in situations. All these things should be a red flag. Like if you're sitting over here, like the way it just starts off, like, hey, you calling somebody, hey, we're going, you on a chat, and then we're going to go and have sex, and we're going to do all these different things. Immediately in his mind, I'm just saying he should have stayed away from the situation altogether. And her too. I mean, this thing, man, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal all the way around. So I don't even care what he can do on the field. It doesn't seem like what he's doing on the field is impressive anyway. But this right here, this is an absolute. That's a strike. I couldn't even think about drafting a guy like this. I'm like, nah, that's when you go on, take him on off the board. Seriously.
Do you feel like a lot of teams are going to take him off the board because of this?
Absolutely. No question about it. No question about it.
I mean, you're gearing yourself up for your initial draft press conference the moment you draft him. Like you better have statements ready to go about how you did your due diligence on him the moment you take him, because that's all that those questions are going to be about him. So it better be worth it at that round you get him at.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you said, even taking the sex out of it, it's a major character flaw to impose your will on anyone. Absolutely. Simply because you can. No question about it. And so, when all that comes out, however it plays out, hey, let this young man get his life together.
Yeah, and then also for the fact that he's not making the big bucks yet. Obviously, NIL is one thing, but like he's not making the big bucks yet. And right away, he obviously knows he did something wrong. Talking about NBA right after that whole thing was done,
And then
if he's allocated, and then also throwing the money at the situation because you think they can just take you out of the situation. Obviously, again, these are the whole thing. Let the process play out, but if those things are true, then that's not the best thing to bring into an organization with a complete unknown with the guy who hasn't,
Right.
I mean,
especially she's got all the text messages and everything, all the all the evidence, man.
All the receipts.
This dude's looking at some real time, as he should. If this is true, if this stuff is true, I don't care who it is, they should get some real time.
For sure. Yeah. So we'll see how that situation goes. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I was a huge Isaiah Bond fan going into the draft season. I thought, he played like a guy that would be able to play in our offense. Did a little bit more research, and then this whole thing came out. That right away, it's an instant take off the board kind of situation with stuff like this. So, and Tez Johnson, I'm all in on Tez Johnson. So there you go.
I don't know that take the off the field stuff. His on the field stuff just doesn't even sound that good either. I mean,
it's not.
He disappeared in large chunks this season, like flat out disappeared. Like catchless, 1 catch, 2 catches, 100-yard game against TCSU.
Yeah.
TCSA,
yeah.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Texas
Christian San Antonio?
Maybe. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Well, that was a fifth of his yards of the season came in that game. So, I mean,
not the best. But all right. So Isaiah Bond. See you later, man. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.